Hey everybody, this is Unit 5 Formative 1, Day 4 of Notes, and we're going to talk about special cases with factoring today. Okay, so with this type of problem, we are missing our middle term. So the first thing I want you to do is actually to write it out with that middle term, except it's going to be plus 0x plus 27. So we're missing those x's. So that's your first step. Write it with the 0x in there, and then it'll make a little bit more sense. Okay, now we look for a common factor. When you're looking for a common factor, don't really think about that 0x. Okay, what I want you to do is think about the negative 3 and the 27. And negative 3 goes into both of those, so we're going to pull a negative 3 out. When we do that, we're left with x squared plus 0x plus 9. And then we're going to factor out that parentheses, so the negative 3 stays on the outside. Put your parentheses, x and x gives you x squared. We want factors of 9 that are going to add up to be 0. So, oops, I actually messed up here. My bad. So when we pull out a negative 3, this here should actually be a negative 9. Okay, so because negative 3 times negative 9 will give you the positive 27 that you need back up here. Okay, so we want to find factors of negative 9 now that are going to add up to 0. So we have 9 and negative 1, 1 and negative 9, or 3 and negative 3. Now this is the pair that's going to add up to 0, so we're going to go plus 3 in one, minus 3 in the other. You can double check your answer, make sure 3x and negative 3x equals 0. Or do the whole problem again, but this would be your answer. Okay, let's look at one more here. So again, write it with the middle term in there. So 4a squared plus 0a minus 16. Now your greatest common factor would be a 4. So pull out a 4, you could get a squared plus 0a minus 4. And now we're going to draw our parentheses. We're going to put an a and an a because a times a gives you a squared, which is what you want right here. We want to find factors of negative 4 now that are going to add to 0. So 2 and negative 2 would work. So we're going to go plus 2 and minus 2 in one parentheses. You can double check your answer. Here would be 2a. Here would be negative 2a. So you're going to add up to 0. And there is your answer. All right, last one here. So this one here, the only thing that we can actually, or first we want to rewrite it with a 0x. And the only thing we can actually pull out of this one is a negative 1. So we're left with x squared plus 0x minus 81. Let's not make that same mistake that I made on the first one. And put a negative 1 on the outside, draw your two parentheses. X times x gives you x squared. We want to find factors of negative 81 that are going to add up to 0. So we have 9 and negative 9 would work. So minus 9 and plus 9. And there is your answer. Double check to make sure negative 9 plus 9 equals 0. And you're good to go. All right, and that is how you factor when you have something that looks a little bit different, or in other words, special cases. So we will see you later. Make sure you took notes.